Sengol, which denotes transfer of power, is back. Prime Minister Modi will be installing that Sengol, traditional Sengol from 1947, and now in the new Lok Sabha that will be inaugurated on the 28th of May. And during that inauguration, this will be introduced back again. After 1947, it almost disappeared, was laying low. It's now come back in action. It now appears in the new Parliament building, which will be inaugurated and showcased right next to the Speaker's chair in the Lok Sabha. That's where it will be placed. The Sengol was received by independent India's first Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru from Lord Mountbatten to symbolically represent the transfer of power from the British, and was later kept at the Nehru Gallery of Ahmedabad Museum in Allahabad. BJP has now hit out at the Congress, saying that it showed disdain to Hindu rituals. Says the Sengol was tucked away by Nehru in Anand Bhavan, claiming that the Sengol was termed as a walking stick instead given to Nehru. Now, India Today spoke to Uday Vumidam, the grandson of Vumidi. In fact, Vumidi Bangaru Shetty was the one who tasked with making of that Sengol sceptre in 1947. His grandson speaks to India Today. Let's have a listen.
I also got to hear, know about a story that in Allahabad Museum, this particular Sengol was actually mentioned to be the Prime Minister Nehru's walking stick. Is that so?
I don't know. I've seen photographs of it, but mistakes happen. That's what you and I are for, right? Media is there to correct it, and you have somebody else to see that it is restored to its past glory. So let's forget about it. It was kept safe and sound, and we are getting it back to its original prominence. That's what we are all about.
We have Amarendran with us, who is actually the person responsible for creating this particular replica. Thank you so much for speaking to us, sir. Kindly, can you explain to us the significance of a sceptre?
Thank you for having me here. The sceptre symbolifies and is very synonymous to power. So anybody who holds power holds the sceptre. It's not only an Indian phenomenon, but it's also an international phenomenon, where they call it the sceptre in most European kingdoms. But here we call it the Sengol, and it's very this culture is very South Indian, where every time one king passes on power to the next ruler, they hand over the sceptre or the Sengol to them. So this is a part of our tradition, and this tradition was carried out even at our independence.
So how did the sceptre come to be made, and what is the history behind it, and how did it end 15 minutes before into the hands of the Prime Minister?
The original idea comes from the Mountbatten. So he had asked how transfer of power is signified in India. When he put this question to Pandit Nehru, and Mr. Pandit Nehru had asked his learned counsel, Rajaji, as to how this was done. And he had said that he needs to consult with an Adinam in Tiruvallur. So the Adinam had requested him to meet my grandfather and to make the Sengol, and that's how the whole thing had started.
So what is the design behind it, sir? Why do we see a Nandi there, and what are the leaf patterns? Is there any significance to all these designs in it?
The top where you see is the Nandi. Since it was a Shaivite Adinam, so they had placed the Nandi right on top. Below that we have a Lakshmi. The Nandi also justifies for justice. So that's what it signifies. And the Lakshmi is for wealth. So the ruler should have the right amount of finances, should also deliver a right justice to its people.